So if you're ready for some wild fun, grab your snacks, wrap up in your blanket, and let's dive into this chaotic adventure. The story kicks off with the bad guys pulling off a late-night heist at an arcade store. The leader, Wolf, spots this super old, antique arcade machine and gets an idea. If they can steal it, their gang's name will finally blow up. Yeah, these guys don't just want money, they want fame, the kind only the baddest of the bad can earn. Everyone's got a role to play. Webbs, the tech genius, is in charge of handling all the security cameras so the rest can sneak in without a trace. Shark, the big guy with surprising skills in disguise, is out front acting as a distraction for the guards. Piranha's got one job: keep the getaway car ready, engine running, waiting to scoop everyone up the moment the mission's done. Inside, Wolf and Snake are handling the main job, stealing that prized arcade machine. Wolf, being his overconfident self, starts talking straight to the CCTV cameras, bragging about how the bad guys are pulling this off. But Webbs interrupts, rolling her eyes, reminding him that she already shut off the cameras. So yeah, he's basically showing off to no one. Meanwhile, outside, Piranha starts freaking out when he hears sirens. Thinking the cops are on them, he panics, crashes the car right through the front of the shop, and yells that the police have arrived. But here's the twist: the sirens weren't even for them. Turns out, another thief named Night Owl was robbing somewhere else at the same time. The bad guys just made all that noise for nothing. The crew's thrilled anyway because hey, any attention's good attention, right? They rush out with the arcade machine, convinced their names will make the headlines. The next morning, though, they find out their big moment didn't even make the news. The cops weren't chasing them, no one cared about their little arcade theft, and the thing they stole wasn't even valuable. Snake's annoyed, grumbling that it was all pointless. But Wolf keeps his cool. He tells the crew he's got another plan that'll make them legends. They just have to be patient. While they're hanging out at their hideout, Piranha gets hooked playing the very same arcade game they stole. Then the news comes on. A famous museum is about to unveil a legendary painting called Set Boys. Security's so tight that even professional thieves wouldn't dare touch it. But rumor says that if someone like Night Owl or Inside Cat can steal it, they'll go down as the greatest criminals ever. Snake listens quietly, and later that night, he tells Wolf he's thinking about going solo. He's tired of all the failed heists and the constant waiting. Maybe, he says, it's time to chase fame alone. Wolf looks crushed but then gets an idea. What if they're the ones to steal the Set Boys painting? If they pull this off, they won't just be thieves, they'll be legends. Snake pauses, his curiosity sparked. He agrees to join one last mission. If this one fails, he's done for good. The crew gears up for the biggest job of their lives. Shark disguises himself as a building inspector to sneak into the museum and get full access to the place. Webbs hacks into the system, shutting down the cameras and lasers. Piranha waits outside with the car ready to roll. Inside, Wolf and Snake move through the dark halls, ready to grab the painting. Everything goes smooth, at first. But just as they're about to lift the painting, Wolf decides to make their mark, literally. He spray paints the bad guys on the museum wall to announce their victory. Bad idea. His elbow knocks over a statue, setting off every alarm in the building. Now chaos erupts. Webbs frantically tries to override the security system. Shark improvises by creating distractions, and the guards start flooding in. Snake makes it out first, but Wolf gets trapped inside. Snake hesitates but Wolf yells for him to go ahead and save the others. Just when it looks like Wolf's done for, he manages to climb up to a window. Piranha, showing off his crazy driving skills, flies the getaway car straight up to the window and snatches Wolf out of danger. Back at their base, the crew watches the news and finally sees their name being mentioned. Even though they didn't actually steal the painting, their attempt was so wild that everyone's talking about them. Snake, now feeling proud again, decides to stay with the team. They're pumped, laughing, and already planning their next big heist. Days pass, and the bad guys keep watching the news, waiting to see if they'll make it to the top 10 most evil criminal groups list. But every day, their name's missing. The media even says that anyone not on the list should just quit crime and live normal lives. That's an insult to the bad guys. They know they're real criminals, just not lucky ones yet. Then one day, they hear a report about a famous candy creator named Peppy. He's the genius behind a beloved candy brand called Welties, but he's shutting it down to launch a brand new candy that every kid will want. Shark's heartbroken, he's obsessed with Welties. Those candies made him confident and focused, and Peppy's his idol. Webbs, however, isn't buying it. She tells Shark that no businessman is ever truly nice. Pepe's just pretending to be good for publicity. Shark snaps back, saying she's wrong. Pepe's a hero to kids everywhere. The argument sparks something in Wolf's mind. He grins and says, "Then let's steal Pepe's new candy recipe." Everyone freezes. It's a bold idea, stealing something that every kid in the world wants. If they pull this off, their name would skyrocket straight to the top of the most evil list. The team's in. They sneak into Pepe's candy factory that night. But as always, nothing goes smoothly. The factory's filled with traps and tight security. They split up. Wolf and Snake sneak through the vents while Shark, Webs, and Piranha search the lower levels. As they explore, Piranha slips and tumbles down a chute, getting separated from the rest. Meanwhile, Wolf and Snake stumble upon a safe. Inside it is Pepe's top-secret candy formula. They can't help themselves and start munching on some of the candy lying around, laughing and joking, completely unaware of the shadowy figure standing right behind them. Elsewhere, Webs gets caught in a trap, dangling helplessly from the ceiling. Shark could help her, but instead he spots a pile of candy and gets distracted stuffing his face. Down below, Webs finally comes face to face with Pepe, and in that creepy smile of his, she realizes she'd been right about him the whole time. Pepe isn't some sweet candy genius, he's pure evil. Turns out his new candy isn't just for kids. It's designed to brainwash people, making them his loyal puppets. And guess who his first test subjects are? Wolf and Snake. Remember that candy they were eating earlier? Yeah, that was Pepe's experimental batch, and it works perfectly. In seconds, their eyes go blank, their smiles turn robotic, and Pepe grins, ordering them to capture Webs and feed her the candy too. Within moments, all three, Wolf, Snake, and Webs, fall under his control. Now Pepe has them as his candy brainwash soldiers, and he sets his sights on his next victim, Shark. But Shark isn't as clueless as he looks. Up there on the factory platform, he uses his quick thinking and a little trickery. He grabs a photo of Pepe, disguises his voice to sound just like him, and starts shouting conflicting orders. The brainwash trio gets totally confused. Who's the real Pepe? As Shark standing on a ledge above a pool of bubbling acid, he realizes this might be his final act. He apologizes to Webs through the chaos, admitting he was wrong not to trust her earlier. That emotional moment snaps something in Web's mind. Her friendship bond with Shark cuts through Pepe's brainwashing. She shakes her head, regaining control of herself, and immediately rushes to save Shark before he falls. Meanwhile, Piranha shows up, trying to rescue his friends too, but now Wolf and Snake, still under Pepe's spell, start attacking him. Everything turns into total madness. Machines explode, alarms blare, and the whole factory starts collapsing. And then, boom, Pepe's control suddenly fades. Whether it's the explosion or their friendship, no one knows, but Wolf and Snake snap out of it. They rush over, pull their friends out, and escape the factory just before it crumbles into the ground. Back at their hideout, they're exhausted and a bit disappointed. The mission failed. They didn't get the candy recipe. But when they turn on the TV, something unexpected happens. Pepe himself appears on the news, furious and ranting about how the bad guys destroyed his factory and ruined his plans. He even says their names live on air. And just like that, the bad guys finally make the top 10 most evil criminals list, coming in at number 10. The whole crew jumps around in excitement. They're finally famous. Later, Wolf strolls into a coffee shop, chest puffed up with pride. He confidently orders a cup, expecting the barista to recognize him instantly. But the barista just stares blankly, asking, "Who?" Wolf's jaw drops. He can't believe it. "You don't know the bad guys? We're number 10 on the list." The guy shrugs, saying he only knows the top 5. Wolf storms out, muttering under his breath, feeling totally underappreciated. Back at their base, he complains to the crew. They try to cheer him up, saying fame takes time, they've just started. Then suddenly, Wolf gets a phone call. It's Tiffany, a glamorous TV host from Channel 6. She wants to interview the bad guys live on air. Wolf's face lights up. This is their shot at true fame. But not everyone's as thrilled. Snake's not confident about his voice or looks. Shark absolutely hates Channel 6 because he once auditioned there as a kid star and got rejected, and Piranha's just nervous. Webs, though, is totally pumped. She wants to show off her hacking talent to the whole world. Wolf convinces them all to go for it, saying opportunities like this don't come twice. They finally agree, and on the day of the interview, chaos starts even before the cameras roll. Snake covers his face with cardboard and uses a voice changer that makes him sound like a broken robot. Shark freaks out mid-interview and, out of stress, literally eats the camera. Webbs tries to impress everyone with her hacking demo, but ends up almost electrocuting the entire studio. Then Piranha, being his talkative self, blurts out all their secret evil plans on live TV. Yeah, every private scheme, gone. The interview turns into total disaster. Tiffany's team shuts it down, and Wolf's dream of fame crumbles again. Snake's had enough. He throws his hat down, saying he's done with all this nonsense. Wolf, desperate not to lose him, begs Tiffany for one last shot. A deal. If the bad guys can pull off a big public stunt, she'll air the footage and make them stars. Tiffany agrees, but only if they succeed. Fail, and the footage gets buried forever. The challenge? Steal the city's giant hot dog statue, a massive local landmark, live on camera. That night, they go for it. The plan starts perfectly. They sneak in, dodge alarms, and everything's smooth, until Wolf starts showing off. He wants the world to see that the bad guys aren't just crooks, they're legends. But his showboating causes chaos. Sirens go off, alarms blare, and the whole thing turns into a hilarious disaster. Still, by some miracle, they manage to pull it off. The bad guys actually steal the giant hot dog and even eat it afterward to celebrate. Tiffany keeps her word and uploads the footage. The next morning, the internet explodes with their story. Everyone's talking about them. Finally, the bad guys are trending. The fame they've been chasing for so long is now real. Later, Wolf goes back to that same coffee shop. This time, when he walks in, the barista freezes. Aren't you? Wolf smirks. Yeah, he says, the bad guys. The guy nods nervously, totally recognizing him now. For the first time, Wolf feels like a real celebrity criminal. But fame hasn't changed everything. Back at their base, the bad guys are chilling, trying to relax after all the chaos. Piranha looks around, though, and gets grossed out. The place is a total dump, smelly, messy, and disgusting. He can't take it anymore. He calls everyone over for a team meeting. When they gather, Piranha stands proudly and declares that from now on, they need to keep their headquarters clean. The others groan. Dude, we're criminals, not janitors, Snake snaps. But Piranha insists, and his passion actually convinces Wolf and the others to agree, kind of. They decide to make cleaning a game. Using a lottery draw, each person gets a cleaning task. Wolf ends up with the worst one, unclogging the filthy water tank on the roof. Shark's job is to organize their piles of stolen loot. Snake gets bathroom duty, which he absolutely hates. Webbs joins him, tasked with sorting out their wardrobe and gadgets. Wolf, being the responsible one, gets right to work. But the others? Not so much. As he's cleaning, the shower bursts open from below. Turns out, everyone keeps flushing the toilets, blasting water straight onto him. Downstairs, arguments start flying. Snake refuses to clean up, saying it's beneath him. Shark and Webbs get annoyed with his attitude, and soon, the group splits into two sides, Team Piranha, Shark and Webbs, versus Team Snake, Snake alone. To settle things, they come up with a bet. If Team Piranha can snatch Snake's hat, he'll have to clean. But if Snake manages to steal each of their precious belongings, he wins and gets to skip cleaning entirely. The game begins. Piranha hides his precious object, a fancy teapot he uses for his tea breaks, inside a locked safe. Meanwhile, Webbs and Shark plot a way to get Snake's hat. During the planning, Shark starts telling stories about his prized possession, a tooth from his grandma that he wears on a necklace. But while they're talking, Snake sneaks in like a shadow and snatches the necklace right off Shark's neck without anyone noticing. By the time Shark realizes it's gone, Snake's grinning, twirling the necklace in his hand. The group froze for a moment. Snake beat them at their own game. That's when they all dropped the jokes and finally got serious. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Wolf was still the responsible one, focused on cleaning while the rest of the gang kept goofing off. But in the kitchen, things were about to get even wilder. Snake, or as his friends like to call him, Snack, was busy trying to toast his marshmallow in the microwave. Right above him, Piranha was sneaking around with help from Shark and Webbs, plotting to swipe Snake's favorite hat. But then Piranha got distracted. He saw how Snake cleverly used his tail tip to make a fancy marshmallow drink, complete with whipped topping and style. Snake looked super proud, bragging about his little invention and also about stealing two valuable items already. There was only one special thing left, something Webbs owned, that Snake hadn't managed to take yet. Piranha was annoyed and fired up. He wasn't about to lose again. That's when he got an idea so sneaky it could only come from a bad guy. He'd use Snake's own shed skin to trick him. So the team regrouped and built a new plan. Shark would disguise himself as a plumber and lure Snake into the bathroom. Once Snake took the bait, Shark would leave, letting Snake's curiosity do the rest. Of course, Snake fell for it. Thinking Webb's precious thing must be hidden in the bathroom, he slithered in and found Piranha there. Piranha played it cool, acting all chill and admitting defeat. While Snake relaxed, Webbs made his move from above and snagged Snake's hat right off his head. Game over. Snake laughed, admitting he'd been beaten fair and square. Then, genuinely curious, he asked Webbs what his most valuable thing actually was. Webbs smiled and said it wasn't gold, jewels, or fancy gadgets, it was his friends. That hit everyone in the heart. The crew got quiet, all feeling that same warmth. They decided to clean up the mess together, working as a team again. But when Wolf showed up, he was shocked to see the place looking spotless, until he realized the truth. His friends had just dumped all the trash straight down the toilet. That's when Wolf lost it. He'd been scrubbing the water tower tank for hours just to keep it unclogged, and now they trashed it again. The frustration didn't last long, though, because soon after, the bad guys were back at it, planning another big heist. This time, they were hitting the same museum. But things didn't go as smoothly as planned. Their moves got spotted by security, again, not just once but multiple times.